have at least temporarily made a change at closer with Wade, at least temporarily.
We talked a lot about each and everybody's role on this team often, right? As you know, whether pitchers or position players. So for the time being, Scott Oberg is going to look to pitch late in the game, later per se, potentially the ninth inning. Wade's going to take a step back, and we'll see where this goes for the short term.
With that said, when would you pitch Wade? Because obviously, if he's struggling a bit, if you move him to the eighth inning, that's a big inning.
Yeah, every game's unique, Thomas, as you know. So it's hard to say when he's going to pitch, but he'll pitch in the middle part of the game.
His splits are dramatic.
Right.
His road numbers are awesome.
Road numbers are. He's got a .6. You want me to read them off?
I know what it is.
We all know what they are.
Yeah,
.68. Yeah, he's giving up one run. I think it was a solo homer.
So is there
right?
Yes. Thing. Yeah.
13 innings, 9 hits, 15 walks, 1 run. Yeah.
That's kind of impressive that you know all of them. You got a lot of players to deal with.
That's sort of our job. Sometimes you guys come up with numbers that right? You can spin anything. You can spin any numbers. But anyway, go ahead.
But
to your point,
is there something specific happening?
We've talked about this, right? Wade and I, and the pitching coaches, to try to identify it. It's a little bit perplexing. Just might be one of those years. But I think the thing that stands out for me is that the walk total, both home and road, are low high. And we've addressed that with Wade. And Wade can't, come up with an answer either why that's happening. Because we've looked at mechanics, we've looked at mindset, we've looked at a lot of different things. And when you pitch the ninth inning, and regardless of whether it's a one-run lead, tie game, when it's the final inning, I mean every pitch matters, right? Every pitch. Because it's the finality of the game. And whether Wade's trying to be a little bit too fine, we've talked about that. And we've talked about, only Wade knows that, right? And, he's indicated to us that, he's not obviously trying to walk guys. But there are times in certain games, certain hitters, certain at-bats where he might pitch a little fine to certain hitters and it might result in a walk. And, all closers do that to some extent, but the big picture we gotta keep working at why this is happening, why the splits are so drastic.
So but is his stuff, his basic stuff, still good?
Oh yeah,
I think so too. Yeah,
I agree. If you look at the traditional method these days, if you look at radar guns and TrackMan and Rapsodo and all the technology, it's still good across the board, right? All those pitches, spin rates, spin access, spin efficiency, all those things that we look at, they're all solid. And I think you can see a strikeout rate is more than a strikeout an inning. So that indicates that he's able to strike guys out. And strikeouts indicate good stuff or great location. Probably usually a combination of both. But the walk rate's too high. So as far as to your initial question, yes, it's still solid. I think the velocities are anywhere from on the fastball 92 to 95. The cutters, where his norm is, the curveball the same. All those things are really good the same. And physically he's fine.
So
arm feels fine.
Of course, as you mentioned, he's walking people at home and on the road, but has there been any thought, or what would be the pros and cons of white pants, Oberg closes, gray pants, Davis closes?
We've talked about that too. I think that, again, I think it's probably the consistency of when a guy comes to the park knowing his role. I think that's important. When you go to work, you sort of know what the expectation is that day of where you will fit into that game. In most games, right? Because every game's unique, extra innings, a lot of different things can, impact how we use the bullpen. But I think for the time being, it's probably best to have one guy.
But he's got.
If rested and all those things, right? I mean, all those things come into play, right? If who's available, who's not, as you guys know, and that changes every day.
I asked you about Scotty Oberg just the other day, actually.
Yeah.
You eager to see how he handles, at least for now,
Well,
that ninth inning role? Because his stuff, his
uh,
numbers are so good right now.
I think from what I know of Scott, and what I've watched, and our conversation, and watching him as a member of our team, I think he's going to be fine. This guy was, going back to his amateur days. He pitched late in the game in college. He pitched late in the game in the minor leagues. He's pitched late in the game here at times in a lot of different scenarios. So I don't know whether eager is the right word, but I think from what we need right now, I think this is the right thing to do.
I recognize how simplistic this is going to sound and maybe stupid, but because we talked about this with Kyle a little bit too. But at some point, when you check off all of the peripherals, mechanics, et cetera, is there anything you can do to coach location? Honestly, I know every guy's unique.
Yeah, I mean that's the everyday challenge for a pitcher. I mean that's the ultimate, right? At the high end of the scale of a pitcher that I had is Greg Maddux, right? Could throw the ball where he wanted, almost all the time. And that's a challenge for every pitcher. And that is through, repetition, it's through mechanics, it's through confidence, it's through feel, it's through poise and calmness in your body when you're doing a physical activity. It all goes into play. So yes, you can coach it, but does it happen overnight? No. Some guys have the innate ability to do that. They've been that way their whole life. But things change. But that's what we do. That's what coaches do in conjunction with the player. Through our work that is the ultimate challenge for a pitcher is location. Of the three variables, right? Location, velocity, and movement. That's what pitching's made of. And velocity comes natural. That's what you have. Movement is sort of natural, but location is the variable that is the most wide-ranging, and that's where you have to become as proficient as possible. It's a big good pitcher.
This is our first opportunity to ask you about the deadline, and you obviously come out of the deadline. It's the same ball club. Where do you feel this ball club is? Where do you feel the needs are going forward?
That's a big question, Thomas. But I think that where we are right now is not the team that we were a month ago, right? We didn't play well this month. We were both, I think, on the mound and swing the bat. So we have to improve our play, and that's where we are. That's been pretty obvious. So we have to swing the bats better. We have to pitch better. Defense, I think we've been okay. What do we need to do? Do we have the same team yet? We have the same team. But that's not from from my experience of being in and around different teams with different trade deadlines and being on this team now for 3 years. I know that our executives were working hard with other teams to try to do some things. There just wasn't a match of what our team and other teams were trying to get to. So it wasn't from any lack of effort. What do we need to improve on? Well, like I said, I mean, we got to play. Where we go in the future, I mean, the future is today's game. I mean, I don't know how to think about it. You thought this offseason and next year, we're still playing today, and that's the most important thing in my eyes, and that's what I'm translating to the players.
These were the same. It's the same team that entered the deadline, but it's also the exact same team that for a long period was one of the best teams in the National League. Is that the puzzling part?
That's the perplexing part of all this is that how did we get here? We got here by both sides of the ball not playing well. That's what happens. Usually, if you're mashing the ball and not pitching, you can outscore some teams and win. Or when you're really pitching well and you're not scoring, you win a lot of low-scoring games. But we just haven't played well on both sides, and that's resulted in a very tough July.
Buddy, I know you're aware of some of the comments Nolan made to all of us the other day. One of them,
Some of them, not all of them.
but one of them, which was that Nolan, in retrospect, said, you know what? Maybe there were games this year where I should not have tried to grind through, and maybe should have, come to you and said, listen, give me a day off. What's your feeling about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's admirable his desire to play, right? I mean, it's what a great trait to be, that player who wants to grind through, this baseball season. And so you hear me talk about how, guys are built to play, and Nolan's one of those guys, along with Charlie and Trevor. And other guys, right, throughout the game. But there were probably some times where, Nolan was banged up, and him trying to, be in the lineup to help the team win, where, I could have done a better job of really, mandating, hey, you're not playing for sure. So I can do a better job.
But he put it on himself.
Well, I mean, again, which is, it's a great trade, right? It's an awesome trade because he wants to play. And he wants
Put it on himself to come to you and say, hey, maybe I need a break.
But again, that's part of I got to. But he shouldn't make that. He shouldn't be hard on himself. Well, I'm saying he shouldn't be hard on himself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
If he was being hard on himself, he should.
The Giants are coming off one of the hottest streaks in baseball that kind of vaulted them back into playoff contention. Is there anything you learned from that you can maybe apply to the Rockies as you try and replicate it?
No. The Giants do what they do. Every team, our biggest concern is what we do. We know what it takes to play well, and we haven't executed that on the field. The Giants have played well this month. They've had a good post All-Star break run, and prior to that, they strung together some wins. But again, it's a combination of there. If you look at what they've done, they've hit the ball better than they did the first 2.5, 3 months of the season. Their pitching has been pretty consistent the whole year. They have a really good bullpen, and they've pitched well. So, but I think that's pretty common sense to look at that and say that's how they play. So that's what I got.
With Davis going to the middle innings and not necessarily the eighth inning, might you be leaning
Maybe
towards?
my pitching.
Right.
I'm going to say every game's going to be different.
Sure.
It depends on,
Matchups.
again, matchups, depends on if somebody's available or not.
Who else could you be leaning towards?
Estevez, Diaz, McGee, those fellas. Probably not Sammy forehead. I mean, I don't want you to hold anything to me, but
Sure.
as the game plays out, you'll notice what we do. But in general sense, Estevez, Davis, Diaz, those guys, 6, 7, 8, with a little McGee in there, a little Bobby McGee, me and Bobby McGee, a little Sammy Howard. I mean,